Dictation. Today we are focusing on the topic, the impact of climate change in the Arctic. This video is for a high intermediate English speaker and it's meant to help you practice your English. It's going to focus on helping you develop your listening skills and your writing skills. In this video, I will read 5 sentences that are related to this topic, impact of climate change in the Arctic. And you will write down the 5 sentences on a piece of paper to the best of your ability, following the correct spelling, punctuation, grammar, and capitalization. So you're going to follow all of the rules in English to the best of your ability. And then after I read the sentences, you will have a look at what you have written down and compare it to the correct forms that are shown afterwards in the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Daily dictation takes place from Monday to Friday. There are new sentences each weekday, new topics each week. There are 2 English levels offered, and there is a vocabulary list and practice worksheets available through the link in the description. So for daily dictation, you should follow these instructions. You will need a blank piece of paper and a pencil. A blank document in Microsoft Word or Google Docs is okay too, and you can just type in it. 5 sentences will be read. Each sentence will be read 3 times and 1 more time at the end. You have to write down each sentence the exact way that you hear me say it. You will use your listening skills for this. You have to try your best to apply the correct spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. So let's get started. Here you can see numbers 1 to 5 on the screen. You should write down these numbers in your document or on your piece of paper because each number represents a different sentence. I will read each sentence 3 times and 1 more time at the end, starting with sentence number 1. Number 1. Arctic amplification, which is fueled by rising greenhouse gases, is causing rapid permafrost thaw and methane release. Arctic amplification, which is fueled by rising greenhouse gases, is causing rapid permafrost thaw and methane release. Arctic amplification, which is fueled by rising greenhouse gases, is causing rapid permafrost thaw and methane release. Arctic amplification, which is fueled by rising greenhouse gases, is causing rapid permafrost thaw and methane release. Number 2. Due to increasing greenhouse gases, the feedback loop of permafrost thaw and methane emissions accelerates. Due to increasing greenhouse gases, the feedback loop of permafrost thaw and methane emissions accelerates. Due to increasing greenhouse gases, the feedback loop of permafrost thaw and methane emissions accelerates. Number 3. The loss of Arctic species due to habitat destruction on the tundra is severe. The loss of Arctic species due to habitat destruction on the tundra is severe. The loss of Arctic species due to habitat destruction on the tundra is severe. Number 4. Methane released from thawing permafrost in the Arctic tundra contributes to greenhouse gas concentrations. Methane released from thawing permafrost in the Arctic tundra contributes to greenhouse gas concentrations. Methane released from thawing permafrost in the Arctic tundra contributes to greenhouse gas concentrations. Methane released from thawing permafrost in the Arctic tundra contributes to greenhouse gas concentrations. Number 5. The release of methane is altering the albedo of the tundra, which further amplifies global warming trends and threatens Arctic species with extinction. The release of methane is altering the albedo of the tundra, which further amplifies global warming trends and threatens Arctic species with extinction. The release of methane is altering the albedo of the tundra, which further amplifies global warming trends and threatens Arctic species with extinction. Now I will read each sentence one more time, starting with number 1. Arctic amplification, which is fueled by rising greenhouse gases, is causing rapid permafrost thaw and methane release. Number 2. Due to increasing greenhouse gases, the feedback loop of permafrost thaw and methane emissions accelerates. Number 3. The loss of Arctic species due to habitat destruction on the tundra is severe. Number 4. Methane released from thawing permafrost in the Arctic tundra contributes to greenhouse gas concentrations. Number 5. The release of methane is altering the albedo of the tundra, which further amplifies global warming trends and threatens Arctic species with extinction. All right, great job, guys. Let's go ahead and check our answers. If you found like this video was just a little bit too fast, that's okay. Just listen again. And when you listen again, you can adjust the playback speed and choose a slower speed in the video settings. If you need to listen to specific sentences again, check the description for timestamps. This will help you find when each sentence was read. It'll take you back to that point in the video and you can listen as many times as you need. Now, if you feel like you have everything correct and you want to check, let's go ahead and check. Let's look at our answers, starting with number 1. Arctic amplification, which is fueled by rising greenhouse gases, is causing rapid permafrost thaw and methane release. Number 2. Due to increasing greenhouse gases, the feedback loop of permafrost thaw and methane emissions accelerates. Number 3. The loss of Arctic species due to habitat destruction on the tundra is severe. Number 4. Methane released from thawing permafrost in the Arctic tundra contributes to greenhouse gas concentrations. Number 5. The release of methane is altering the albedo of the tundra, which further amplifies global warming trends and threatens Arctic species with extinction. So, how did you do today? What words did you have a really tough time with, and what words did you do really well? What words do you still need to practice? Some of these words are really tricky. So Arctic amplification, greenhouse gases, permafrost, methane, feedback loop, tundra, albedo, extinction, all of these might be really tricky words. So go ahead and check the description, follow the link, and through that link you will be able to find the definitions and example sentences and test yourself on how all those words are being used. Now, as for the grammar and the punctuation, that's a little bit different. So the grammar here is a little bit tricky. In sentence number 1, you actually needed 2 commas. Why? Because sentence number 1 has a relative clause, which is also known as an adjective clause. This has a relative pronoun. In this case, it's which. And the clause will begin with a relative pronoun, have a form of be or a verb, another verb, and then continue on just like a normal sentence would. The thing with relative pronouns is they add information that isn't essential. So if we remove this, the sentence would still make sense. Arctic amplification, which is the subject, is causing rapid permafrost thaw and methane release. That's all. So here we just have two commas that separate the relative clause or adjective clause. Here we start with due to, which shows that this is a dependent clause. When the dependent clause is finished, we add the comma and begin the independent clause after. Now, as we have said before, if these clauses come in a different order, then we actually don't need the comma anymore, which is what makes this rule so difficult in English. Arctic, as we discussed before, is going to have a capital A because it is a proper noun. It talks about a specific place, a specific region in the world. Here, the which here doesn't function as a relative clause. It's just something, it's just a conjunction, just to kind of connect our ideas here. So that's why there's only one comma here, not two commas. So how did you do, and what words do you still need to practice? Here are some vocabulary words that you should look up and find the definitions of so you can become familiar with how they are used and how to use them yourself. We have the words permafrost, extinction, albedo, methane, tundra, Arctic amplification, greenhouse gases, feedback loop. So if you're not familiar, please keep practicing and check the description in the chat to keep practicing. We have, there is a link in the description and you should continue to practice for other sentences that will come this week. Thank you so much for watching. We're at the end of our video here. I will see you next time. Bye.